Today we're getting into the latest Tesla news, including record low Model Y prices, Tesla talking 3-row SUV, what's coming in Tesla's holiday update, and more. So let's get into it, and a special thanks to Masterworks for sponsoring a portion of this video. First up today, we are once again moving towards the end of another fiscal quarter, and for Tesla that normally means one thing, the return of incentives. This time, however, is a bit different than we have historically seen. Not only are these incentives coming as we approach the end of the year, but also the potential end of the EV tax credit and the introduction of the Juniper Model Y refresh. On one hand, the disappearance of the tax credit is definitely going to incentivize people to buy sooner. On the other hand, many people might feel hesitant to buy since that refresh is likely just around the corner. Ultimately, though, Tesla has their sights set on a huge goal for Q4 of this year, aiming to deliver a record-breaking 515,000 vehicles at minimum. That would be huge for the company, but it's going to require some big incentives to motivate fence-sitting potential customers to act. Here in North America, Tesla has just resumed two of their most popular incentives, free supercharging and a free trial of FSD. If you take delivery of any new inventory vehicle by the end of the year, you will receive both of these incentives for the first 3 months of your ownership. Those stack on top of the many other incentives that Tesla is offering, like discounts on inventory vehicles, free transfer of FSD, and the big one, 0% APR loans for qualified customers. Some customers may or may not care about FSD, so even though it could be a great way to get people to try it and maybe purchase it later, supercharging is the real standout deal here for a lot of people. If you charge a lot on the road or outside your house, those 3 months of free charging could save you a decent amount of money. If you prefer to lease your cars, then Tesla has also just majorly slashed prices on leasing a Model Y. You can now lease a long-range rear-wheel drive Model Y starting at just $299 a month, which is a 39% drop compared to where prices were 2 months ago. From there, you can also choose to lease a long-range all-wheel drive Model Y for $399 and Performance for $599. This price drop brings the Model Y now firmly in line with the lease prices of the Model 3. The long-range rear-wheel drive Model 3 and the Performance model cost the same as their equivalent trims on the Model Y, $299 and $599 respectively. The long-range all-wheel drive Model 3 is actually the only version with a price difference, coming in at $50 cheaper at $349 a month. I'd be really curious to see why that particular model has a price difference there. When it comes to purchasing, the Model Y is slightly more expensive on all trims, with the exception of the Performance Model 3, which is about $3,500 more expensive. Regardless, if you are interested in leasing either one of these cars, now is a great time to take the plunge. It's also important to note they've been advertising $299 a month for a little bit of time, but that included their calculated $100 in estimated gas savings. Now it's actually $299, and that technically would go down to $199 if you get about $100 of gas savings per month. Hitting their delivery goal this quarter is pivotal for Tesla, and driving sales further in North America is going to play a part in hitting that goal. As I mentioned earlier, Tesla is looking at a pretty big shakeup sometime early in the new year. Even though Elon Musk and Tesla seem to support the ending of the EV tax credit, it will undoubtedly have an impact on Tesla's sales, at least for some time. In addition, the impending Model Y refresh might get a price increase for a while once it ships, because its demand will likely increase quite a bit, and Tesla always responds there by increasing its price until production catches up to that demand. So for many customers, this could be their last chance to get a more affordable Tesla for a little bit of time. These incentives are really compelling, so if you are interested in one of these cars, now might be one of the best times to buy or lease. Next up today, we're approaching a new era for Tesla vehicles and the company as a whole. We know that they are working on a lineup of new, more affordable vehicles that ride on modified versions of their existing platform, and that they just recently showed off their Cybercab and Robo-Van. The Robo-Van is by far the largest vehicle that Tesla has ever talked about producing, with seating for up to 20 passengers and the potential to, as Tesla puts it, quote, transport goods from mass transit to construction to food service. While this vehicle is definitely very interesting and will likely see use as a shuttle-type vehicle, this isn't really what most people had in mind when they heard that Tesla was working on a van. Elon Musk has talked a lot about having a large family and supports people being able to have a lot of children, but at the same time his company doesn't really have a way to support transportation for them. Tesla currently makes a few 7-seater options, but for the average family, they're not necessarily the most practical. The Model X offers a 7-seat variant, but that configuration starts at over $80,000. Their largest affordable vehicle is the Model Y, and although it has a 7-seater option, it's a bit of a stretch to describe it as a true 7-seater. That third extra row is notoriously cramped, and while it can seat a few extra people in a pinch, it's hardly an ideal arrangement, especially as a family grows in size. The truth of the matter is that even with their recently announced new products, they will still have a pretty big gap in their product lineup. A cheaper, true three-row SUV, something in the vein of the Kia EV9 or the Rivian R1S, would be a huge hit for Tesla. In addition to that, Tesla still has not yet delivered on anything that resembles a true traditional van. The RoboVan is definitely a neat vehicle, but between its massive size, unique design, and lack of manual controls, this definitely is not a product for the masses to buy anytime soon. So with that in mind, what exactly is Tesla working on to fill that gap? Well, on a few separate occasions, Elon Musk has responded to fans on X with claims that Tesla is working on new products in this vein. In his most recent post, responding to someone with a large family, Elon said, quote, "Tesla RoboVan is in development, some other things too. We don't have any particularly clear insight into what that might entail, but we can make some guesses based on what Tesla has done and shown in the past." During a shareholder meeting earlier this year, Tesla showed off a graphic that laid out their current lineup, as well as a few future vehicles that were under wraps. One of those vehicles was most likely referring to the recently unveiled Cybercab, leaving two more covered up. Many speculate that one of the vehicles is an upcoming affordable model, leaving one last boxy silhouette. Just based on the shape alone, this definitely gives the impression of being a larger vehicle like a van, or maybe even a really large SUV, but not actually being that much larger RoboVan. In his second master plan, Elon Musk talked about Tesla developing, quote, high passenger density urban transport, and as of his third master plan, wrote that building a van wasn't out of the question. Clearly, this is just a placeholder graphic and isn't meant to be a final promise as to what a Tesla van might look like, but just going off the silhouette, it doesn't look anything like the RoboVan as we have seen it. This silhouette clearly has a more traditional vehicle shape. Meanwhile, the RoboVan looks more like an Art Deco train, with almost no harsh angles. We can't know for certain what this means, if it even means anything, but it's easy to speculate that the RoboVan isn't the end of Tesla's van ambitions. If we think back to that We Robot event where the Cybercab and RoboVan were announced, that night had a clear message in mind: autonomy. Tesla was purely focused on showing off self-driving vehicles designed to move a lot of people efficiently through urban areas. The RoboVan is really more of a mass transportation option than it is a traditional van for a family, and it will be great for moving a lot of people efficiently from point A to point B. So it does make sense that since Tesla is clearly focused on autonomy right now, a more traditional van would be better reserved for a different event. I think it's entirely possible that we might see either a van or a larger SUV be unveiled at the same event where Tesla inevitably unveils their upcoming more affordable models. That seems to be the future of the company as it moves into two distinct halves: the traditional cars that customers can drive manually if they want, and the vehicles that can only drive themselves. Building a true passenger or commercial van would allow Tesla to fill one of the few market niches that they still don't really have an option in. When it comes to vans, there are a few options on the market like the VW ID Buzz or the Ford e-Transit, but Tesla's advanced technology, manufacturing, and batteries could do a lot to make these vehicles more practical and attractive to both businesses and consumers. More likely, though, the space that Tesla would succeed a lot in is specifically with larger three-row SUVs. There is a lot more competition in this space, but Tesla could make a big splash if they were to introduce a new vehicle into this market. Data shows that Tesla stock has been trending up with everything going on recently with tax credits, tariffs, and more. But at the same time, other automakers' finances and futures are in flux. It's a lot of volatility, but there's also a lot of money moving around. Where is it going, though? Low volatility investments can be in short supply these days. However, a 2024 Bank of America study found that 83% of young wealthy investors are either gearing up to own fine art for investment purposes or they already do. They like that this art is a, quote, safe haven asset for a portion of their portfolio, an uncorrelated investment that hasn't been impacted by the upward and downward swings in traditional assets. In fact, my subscribers have been able to easily invest in blue chip art themselves thanks to our returning sponsor, Masterworks art investing platform. Masterworks has sold pieces from artists like Banksy, Warhol, and most recently, an $8 million Basquiat painting, even as lower prices in the art market are demonstrating a rare entry opportunity. Auction season is approaching, and with previous Masterworks sales, investors realized annualized net returns like 17.6%, 17.8%, and plus 21.5% from assets held for 1 year. These are paintings often ranging from $500,000 to $20 million. Although some offerings, like their famous Banksy offerings, have sold out in days or even hours. However, you can get immediate access with the QR code on screen by clicking the link in the description below or at masterworks.art/RyanShaw. SUVs are clearly a big market in the US, and Tesla could immediately grab a big chunk of that business if they introduced a model that is cheaper than the Model X but provides that functionality. There have been some rumors out of China that suggest that Tesla is working on a larger version of the Model Y with more seats on a longer wheelbase. Building this new vehicle on the same platform as their current slate of vehicles could be a great way to keep costs down and make things efficient, but in the end, we'll just have to wait and see. We know for a fact that Tesla is working on a few new vehicles, all of which are expected to be more affordable. We expect to hear more about those cars sometime early next year, but in the meantime, what do you think? Do you think Tesla is still continuing development of a more traditional van or an SUV, or what else could they be working on? Also, would that SUV be based on the Cybertruck rather than the Model Y? Which would you prefer to see? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Next up today, as we approach the end of the year, many are excitingly looking forward to Tesla's annual holiday update. This software update tradition has historically brought some cool new features to Tesla vehicles, which has previously included features like changing your lock sound, high-fidelity parking assist, and other fun and useful features. There's a lot of speculation regarding what might be coming to their cars and app this year, so let's discuss some of the biggest requests and guesses as to what could be on the horizon. First, let's discuss some of the potential navigation and autopilot features that owners are the most excited by. For a while, drivers have wished that Tesla Navigation featured user-contributed map data, like what exists on apps like Waze. This lets drivers mark police cars, accidents, construction, and anything else on the road that might delay other drivers. Tesla does currently highlight things like speed cameras and stop signs using the Map API provided by Google, but adding this feature would make navigating even more accurate. Similarly, another common map feature that Tesla owners have been requesting for a while is the option to avoid freeways while driving. Elon promised back in June that this feature would be arriving soon, so this update could be a great opportunity to implement it. I know I would definitely use this, especially when I use FSD. 3D map support arrived in Tesla vehicles in China earlier this year, thanks to their collaboration with Baidu, but it hasn't arrived to any other markets yet. This feature is currently widely available on Google Maps, Apple Maps, and on Rivian vehicles. Older Tesla vehicles that are still powered by Intel processors may not be able to handle a feature like this, but for newer AMD cars, it could be a very useful navigation feature. Speaking of Intel processor vehicles, Tesla has yet to add full-screen autopilot visualizations to those vehicles. It is currently available on all North American AMD-powered cars that have the FSD package. There's no immediately clear reason for this disparity, but it would be nice to have this arrive on older cars if it can process it. Tesla is also reportedly working on another long-anticipated feature, emergency vehicle detection. This feature has been promised as far back as 2021, but hasn't arrived yet. Tesla recently announced that they were planning to make some movement on this feature, and that means it could be arriving soon with FSD version 13. It will reportedly rely on the vehicle's microphones to detect siren sounds, and that will hopefully come in tandem with on-screen visualizations. Currently, Tesla renders emergency vehicles in the same way that it would a normal car, but being able to appropriately identify and respond to these vehicles is key for the future of FSD. Otherwise, some of the most requested features are bringing features parity to vehicles in markets like Europe. Since FSD isn't available, many of the visualizations that previously came with the now-defunct Advanced Autopilot are no longer available in Europe. Implementing some of those visualization features to the basic Autopilot package would be great for customers in those regions who can't yet get full FSD. Similarly, actually Smart Summon is not available for European customers, and although it's not likely to arrive there so soon, we will hopefully at least see some improvements to that feature over there. At the same time, there are plenty of commonly requested Tesla app features that would be great to see arrive next month. An Apple Watch app has been long requested, and code for it has started to appear in the iOS app, so we could see that come very soon. This could allow you to potentially control certain features and to unlock your car using just your watch. On iOS, Apple also has support for widgets that display live activities, persistent notifications that supply you with real-time data about ongoing tasks. Having one of these for things like charge status or Sentry Mode alerts would be a really handy feature, so you could check those things at a moment's notice. Other frequently requested features include being able to remotely control features like the light show, to precondition the battery, and to control more than one pre-programmed garage door from the app. Overall, I'm really excited to see what actually comes out when Tesla pushes the holiday update later this year, and likely we'll see some fun things on top of these more practical features that customers want. They're always innovating with their apps and features, as we are constantly seeing with each new update that comes out. For example, version 4.39.0 just released, and it brought some nice improvements to My Home, the trip planner, and the service request section. Tesla is constantly assessing how well their cars work to make fixes and improvements at every juncture. The holiday update is right around the corner, and I can't wait to see what comes next. But what would you like to see in this holiday update? Leave a comment below to let me know your thoughts. Next up today, the Chinese company CATL is the world's largest and most successful battery maker. They have been at the forefront of the industry for a while now, and they supply a lot of the auto industry with the batteries that they need in their EVs. Needless to say, they have a lot of expertise in this field, and that is what has kept them so far ahead for so long. Over the years, Tesla has partnered with CATL many times to supply batteries to their vehicles, but all the while they have been working on their own proprietary 4680 battery cells. The ramp of those cells hasn't been easy, but Tesla is finally reaching a turning point with these cells in terms of efficiency and optimization. However, CATL has recently made some comments that cast a bit of doubt over Tesla's whole battery operation. CATL's chairman recently was in a conversation with Elon Musk, where he told him very bluntly that the 4680, quote, is going to fail and never be successful. Those are some extremely strong words, and while CATL's opinions on battery manufacturing definitely hold some weight, a lot of people are very skeptical over this. Over the years, Tesla has definitely had issues with cost and production efficiency on this battery, but they've made a lot of progress since those early days. The 4680 has been majorly scaled and improved for its recent inclusion in the Cybertruck, and has been going much better than when they first tried using it in select Model Y units. According to insider reports, Tesla does still have some production-related inefficiencies that they are working on improving. At the same time, Tesla is also in advanced development on their dry cathode 4680 battery cells, which use a radically different production method to produce the battery's cathode. It could dramatically save time, energy, and cut down on floor space for the production of these batteries if it is successful. They already built a prototype Cybertruck using this battery, and it could be a game changer if they crack this. CATL's comments weren't all negative, however. Their chairman did go on to say that while Elon Musk, quote, doesn't know how to make a battery, he's good for the chips, the software, the hardware, the mechanical things. This perspective does seem to make some sense. Tesla started out as a purely hardware manufacturer, and their jump into battery chemistry is a much more recent development. They aren't as well established as a company like CATL, who has been making batteries for years. Still, in time, Tesla is probably going to overcome their current issues, and it seems likely that they too can rise to the top spot in the battery industry in time. We'll have to see what happens here, but it's definitely very interesting to hear from CATL. Next up today, while Tesla has historically never been a fan of traditional advertising, they are definitely always looking for publicity. Sometimes that involves making big claims about their cars and future products, sometimes that means launching a car into space, and sometimes it's just getting their products out to people in splashy ways. As such, a few days ago, Tesla set up a special promo opportunity for both Optimus and the Cybercab with Kim Kardashian. Over one day, she posted 5 different videos across her social media pages that reached a cumulative 500 million followers. The first video shows her talking to and interacting with Optimus by waving, dancing, and even getting it to blow a kiss. Much like how it was at the We Robot event, this model is almost definitely being teleoperated to some degree, but we do get to see it doing some motions that we haven't seen before. Later, she posted a video of a special golden Optimus meant to match the color scheme of the Cybercab. She captioned it saying that this is the only gold model in existence, and it's definitely very striking to see. Later on, they did a photo shoot of this gold Optimus sitting inside their Cybercab, and at times the scene looks like something out of science fiction. We never see the golden Optimus move in these videos, so it either might not be functional yet, or it isn't dexterous enough to handle getting in and out of the car. In another post, she specifically shouts out Franz von Holzhausen, Tesla's lead designer, for their team's work on this Cybercab. According to Sawyer Merritt, Kim Kardashian normally charges a brand $2 million for a sponsored post, but these videos weren't disclosed as having been paid advertising. That means that in effect, she did about $10 million worth of free advertising for Tesla. Tesla undoubtedly spends a lot of time thinking about their image, and that ultimately pays off for them. They make flashy designs and introduce interesting products that gets people talking about them. Posts like these introduce these products to a whole new set of people, and then when they do reach the market, it will have done a lot to build awareness ahead of time. These posts didn't give a ton of new insight into these products, but it's cool to see them popping up in more public spaces. This definitely seems to be a similar approach to the launch of the Cybertruck, where Tesla was selling those to celebrities fairly early on. It seems like they probably didn't order the Cybertruck day one, but Tesla was giving them an early opportunity because they were going to give them free publicity. Last up today, some updates from Ford. As we approach the end of the year, automakers are starting to roll out and increase incentives meant to drive one last big sales push. We definitely talked about this with Tesla earlier, and now Ford is the latest to roll out some big discounts. Their latest promotions include 0% APR financing and $5,000 in bonus cash on purchases of qualifying 2024 Mustang Mach-E and F-150 Lightning vehicles. On top of that, Ford is offering a free Level 2 EV charger and covering the cost of a standard installation. On top of those incentives, Ford is also offering free 24/7 live support for these vehicles and an 8-year, 100,000-mile battery warranty. I will say that warranty seems pretty standard. If you would rather lease a vehicle, Ford is offering even steeper discounts. If you choose to lease a 2024 Mustang Mach-E, you can receive up to $10,500 in bonus cash, as well as that same complimentary EV charger. The F-150 Lightning has a similar deal right now, offering up to $6,500 in leasing bonus cash. Ford is currently expanding their EV dealer network across the US, with over 3,000 dealers now able to sell and service those vehicles. Their electric vehicle deliveries have grown quite a bit this year, but the brand is still not overall profitable on their EV sales. That could get quite a bit worse for them next year, with the likely end of the EV tax credit. In the meantime, driving sales is the name of the game, and these incentives are quite compelling if you were interested in buying one of these vehicles. That's all the latest Tesla news for today, so in the meantime, if you want to see everything I wish I knew before buying a Tesla Model Y or 3, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.